Who here read the whole book of Revelation? Really?
Yes, I read it like several times through.
It was amazing, I bet. Great, awesome. So who here was also at the Revealed concert thing that was a couple of weeks ago? Who saw that? Okay. So who was in it? Yeah, we even have some. Yeah, there you go. Some actors here who are also in it. So for those of you who know it, that's great. For those who don't, we're going to have a very short look at this book. Unfortunately, we only have today and next week to look at it, so we're going to look at the beginning, and then we're going to jump all the way to the end, so the middle part you guys can look at yourselves in your own time. But let's have a look. What does the word revelation mean? Anyone know what the word means?
Reveal of a sort, a new realization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. So the actual definition means a surprising, and it's a very surprising book, and previously unknown fact, especially one that is made known in a dramatic way. For those who read it, it's a pretty dramatic book. Or it can also be known as the divine or supernatural disclosure to humans or something relating to human existence or the world. That kind of sounds like the sci-fi version of the meaning of the word. So who here knows who wrote the book?
John.
John who? John the Apostle? How do we know that? It says so, yes. It actually says so in, I think it's Revelation 1:9, we'll look at it. Because John actually says, I am here because I was spreading the word of Christ. There's some thought that it was another John, but we're pretty sure it's John the actual apostle. Does anyone know where it was written? Oh, let's try someone else.
The Isle of Patmos?
Yes! Where's the island of Patmos?
I think it's an island of Greece.
It is part of Greece, it is part of Greece, but where is the island? Obviously in the ocean somewhere.
In the Mediterranean.
It is in the Mediterranean, yeah, back north of the Mediterranean, yeah. Technically, it's the, I can't read my own note, the Aegean Sea, but it's basically, yeah, right in the Mediterranean. And it's fairly close to the coast as well. When was the book written? Anyone know? Because it's the last book, it would have to be the last, pretty late on.
Probably from 80 AD to at least 100 AD.
That's a big gap. Can we narrow it down, you think?
Around 90
Close, getting closer.
Isn't it closer to 95?
It's exactly 95. Congratulations. 95. Can we pull up the little map so people can see? There we go. There we go. So there it is. That's actually an old version of what everything looked like. So you'll see Asia Minor. You'll see Greece right to the left of Patmos. So Patmos is quite a long way over. It's very close to what is now known as modern-day Turkey. So, what is the book of Revelation? What's the point of Revelation? Yes, Evan.
Revelation is a prophecy of heaven and earth finally uniting once again, like it was in the Garden of Eden, basically.
Yeah. Anything else? Another reason why it was written?
To just a plain reminder, no matter how bad this world will get, God will eventually win.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Because God came down, Jesus came down and was like, John, I'm going to show you these things. Write them down.
Yeah. Good. We'll talk about it in a minute. Go ahead of me. Anything else?
It's written as a letter to 7 churches, or also the universal church to encourage them.
Yeah, exactly. So, why was John on Patmos?
He was
He was
there because, of course, he was preaching the word of God, and
Yeah.
the Romans were against him preaching the word of God in this section.
So why was he there?
He was getting banished.
He was banished. I've seen that word, but that word's not actually in the Bible, which is interesting. Anyone else? Yes, no.
He was exiled?
Exile, that's a good word, much better word. So the island of Patmos was actually an island. They sent a lot of prisoners there. It was a very industrial island. There was a lot of mines. So they basically sent people there who were prisoners, who were followers of Christ, and sent them to the island to basically do hard labor. And to basically go to the mines and to basically break up rocks and do work for the Roman government. So they were basically troublemakers. So Revelation 1, 9-1 actually says, John was exiled, so John was exiled to the island of Patmos, and it says, John, your brother, and partaker with you in the tribulation and kingdom and patience which are in Jesus, was in the isle that is called Patmos because of the word of God and the witness of Jesus. So there we have why he was there, because of the word of God, the witness of Jesus. So that basically meant, what was he doing?
He's proclaiming the gospel.
He's proclaiming the gospel. And why is that a bad thing? That's a good thing, isn't it?
Because back in those days, they had a common belief in Rome specifically that there were many gods like Jupiter and Neptune and all that other stuff, which is completely false. But they just didn't want to hear anything that he was saying. They viewed him as a threat to their power.
Good. Threat. Yes. It was a threat. Yes.
They also misinterpreted some of the stuff they said, like I think it was brotherly kiss or something like that. They interpreted that to mean that Christians were committing incest.
Oh, wow. Interesting. That's a good, I hadn't heard of that one. Very interesting. So there were various, so basically the biggest reason was that spreading the gospel, telling people about Jesus Christ in that era was forbidden. You all heard of Nero? Yeah? Do you know what he did? Not Nemo, Nero. Finding Nemo. You
Nemo,
guys
the
heard of
tyrant.
him? You guys heard how bad he was? Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
What did he do?
I think he killed a
He
lot of
burned Rome to the ground.
He didn't want Christians.
Yeah, he burned it to the ground. It was like, you guys did it, and let's go kill you, because you did it. But really, they're pretty sure he was the guy who did it. Very nasty guy. So how did it begin? How did the book of Revelation begin? Anyone else? Yes, no.
It began at the end.
How, yes. How did it begin, as in, how did John receive the book of Revelation? Matthew.
Well, it all began when John was just presumably doing something, we don't know what, and suddenly a figure appeared who was white as snow and had a sword in his mouth. I think he had eyes of flame, I don't remember the full details, and it was a form of Jesus in a sense.
Okay, great. We're going to look at that in a minute. Excellent. But how did he receive it? What was going on?
I think he was sleeping, probably dreaming while this was happening. On how he was.
He wasn't sleeping. He wasn't dreaming. He was standing. He's probably breaking rocks. Probably. He was doing some kind of work. Anyone else? He received a vision. So who here's received a vision? I'm sure some of you have had visions. Like I have a vision to get a 4.0 GPA. Not that kind of vision, okay? Yeah, I wish as well. I definitely don't have that either. But this was an actual vision where things changed in front of him. So he actually, it could have been, he went into a trance, or he saw, or actually came before him. So if you guys remember when Paul, on the road to Damascus, he saw Christ, but all those around him didn't see it. Only he was seeing it. So it could have been like he was seeing it and everyone else was around him wasn't seeing it. Or it could have been a trance, or maybe it was a dream. But from what we can tell, he was actually just sat there and then this happened and Jesus came and then suddenly the vision was shown to him. Okay, who would like to read Revelation 1:10-11?
I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and I heard a loud voice behind me like a trumpet saying, "Write on a scroll what you see, and send it to the 7 churches: Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea."
Good, excellent. There are some hard cities to name. Some of them are still here, some of them are not still here. So here we have that this is exactly what happened. So John was there, having a good time, probably not. And he suddenly said, "I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day." So he may have been praying, and it was on the Lord's day. And then he heard a loud voice behind me, like a trumpet. I don't know what a loud voice like a trumpet sounds like, but it must have been pretty loud. So who would like to try to sound like a trumpet? Oh, who did that? Oh, great. Maybe not. So no one here knows what that exactly could sound like. It probably sounds like a trumpet, or maybe like an elephant call. I have no idea.
Well, what it means by trumpet, it's very, very loud.
Very, very loud. Yeah, a very boomy. Maybe it's a very boomy, loud voice. Write on a scroll what you see and send to the 7 churches, and we'll talk about those 7 churches a little bit later. Who would like to read this next verse, which is 12-13? We're going to Matthew.
Then I turned to see whose voice it was that spoke to me. When I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands, and among the lampstands was one, like the Son of Man, dressed in a robe, and with a golden sash wrapped around his chest.
Okay, who would like to read the next one, 14-15? Yeah.
The hair of his head was white as wool, white as snow, and his eyes like fiery flame. His feet were like fine bronze, as it aspired in a furnace, and his voice like the sound of cascading waters.
So who is this?
An angel.
An angel?
Jesus.
Probably Jesus.
Jesus. Does this sound like Jesus?
I think it's supposed to be figurative. Most of this is figurative. It's not meant to be taken literal because Hebrew writing can describe people in very strange ways, and the actual picture that you will paint in your head would be very different from what you would actually be seeing. So
Right.
it's most likely figurative. So this is probably Jesus that we're talking to.
Probably Jesus. Okay. I'll give you a hint. Yes, it is Jesus. Okay. So Jesus. Well, I just stop the debate right there. It was Jesus, but it was a different type of Jesus. Okay. We were more known as the Jesus who was like more human and was more kinder. Certainly didn't have like flames of eyes and a sword coming out his mouth. And this was basically the Jesus that the Jewish people thought was going to be coming first. This was the first Jesus. But this is actually the second Jesus, or the second coming. This is the description. So it's kind of a crazy description of him. And here you see, there's a nice little diagram here. Describes his hair, white like wool, in verse 16. Face shining like the sun, and eyes like a flame of fire. That sounds pretty scary. A sword coming from his mouth. What on earth would that look like? I have some pictures, which I'll show you from artists who predicted it. It's pretty scary to see the sword come out of someone's mouth. And then he's holding 7 stars. There's a golden sash around his chest, curved down to his feet like burning brass. I didn't see the burning brass in that picture, but I guess they were really hot. Very hot. So who would like to read the next verse, which is Revelation 1:16? Yes, Matthew.
He had 7 stars in his right hand, a sharp double-edged sword came from his mouth, and his face was shining like the sun at full strength.
Yeah, so there's a little bit more of description. So here are some pictures which I found. Yeah. So you see John on the left there. He's basically, he said he was in the spirit with the Lord. So he's probably praying on a rock, and you can see Jesus would have appeared in the middle of the sky, and there are the lampstands there. We'll talk about that a little more. Now the one on the right is a little bit more scary, especially with the sword coming out of his mouth. I have no idea if that's exactly what it looked like. We will never know. Only John is the one who knows. But that's the best way he could describe it. It looks like a pretty scary version of Jesus right there, not the Jesus that we've read about in the New Testament. Who would like to read the next verse?
The mystery of the 7 stars he saw on my right hand, and of the 7 golden lampstands is this. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 lampstands are the 7 churches.
Okay, so everything's now clear, isn't it?
No.
No. And the rest of Revelation isn't going to be very clear either. I should give you a warning there.
It's a lot more
So
complicated.
I love how it says the mystery of the 7 stars, and here is the revealed mystery. Oh, thanks very much. We all know it. We can go in there. No, we know the 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and we know who the 7 churches are because later it actually lists who the 7 churches are. So up there on the map are the 7 churches which John was told to write to. So you see Patmos down there, and then who else would like to read out the churches?
Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, Laodicea, Ephesus, and Smyrna.
Good effort, very good effort. So Philadelphia, and that's the one up in Pennsylvania, is that correct? Yeah, that's where the name from. So that was nice of them to send a letter to Philadelphia. So something that's very interesting, it's actually, if you look at that map there, actually go back to the other one. So you notice in the Bible there's a certain order the letters are sent to, which I believe, I don't know offhand, but I believe it's Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. Why do you think it was in that order?
Alphabetical.
No. Definitely not alphabetical.
As it could be.
Maybe the Greek alphabet.
The order the churches were created.
Nope.
It's a loop. It's a road.
It's a loop.
Go
We're
up
getting
and then you
somewhere.
Go back down.
Yeah, we're getting somewhere. So what does that mean?
The closer to the farthest line.
You're basically there. Yeah, so basically it was the modern day mail system, okay? So it started on Patmos, and then it would have gone kind of in a loop all the way around. Right there you don't have all, that's actually modern day Turkey where all the churches are today or were today. And you can actually, if you go visit, say, Ephesus, they actually have still the ruins of those churches there. You can actually go see them as well, and the other places as well. Just basically the modern day mailing system. So, what's interesting is when the letter to Ephesus would have been sent, by the time it got all the way down to Laodicea may have already heard about it, and they knew something was coming. They knew a letter was coming, and so they had to get their act basically straightened up. So we're actually going to get into our groups now. We're going to stop right there. And we're going to do like our manuscript study on we're going to break up into high school and middle school. You're going to take a look at that passage and dissect it a little bit more, and maybe potentially also talk about the 7 churches, what they were, because they all symbolize something as well. So we're going to take some time into small groups, middle school stay here, high school go to the other room, and enjoy yourselves.